Hello and welcome to this week's Capsule Cast. It's Capsule Cast Week 7. I am your host, Destiny, with your co-host, Toshiro.
Hey everyone, what's up?
And here we have our special guest, a supporter from Sentai Squad, Zilo.
Hello, hello.
And what a week it was. So with that, shall we get moving on to something before we move on to matches? Because we got a few rip and piece to go over.
Yeah, good to go.
All right. Here we got rest in peace stats because cleanup, 100% Frieza, King Piccolo, and though that gift might deceive you and say it's Nappa, it's actually Kid Gohan. So yeah, just rest in peace those characters, rest in peace their stats. But hey, it'll probably show up another week. So with that, let's get moving on to match 1, which was Resurrected Warriors and Earth Defenders. This one was a doozy. The main part of this was it was one of the only 2 matches that had to be redone, but this was the only match that was redone after a victor was already decided for the first one. So yeah, it was pretty fun. As you can see, prediction votes were 60-40, with 60 in Resurrected Warriors lead. And honestly, we got to see a Vegeta versus Vegeta. And Goku kind of plot the bed a little bit. And Tapion actually doing more than what I believe he's done most of these weeks, which is a nice 60,000, which is all fun and good. So, Tosh, what were some of your thoughts on this match?
Honestly, really hoping that, and it's not fair to them, but I really want to see Red. I really wanted Red to lose against this time. And I thought that ED was going to be the one that actually took it from them overall. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Resurrected just has it's not like that they're overpowered or anything like that. It's just that their whole roster is like really consistent and it's just good completely. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but Tapion did his thing. When I was on Androids, Tapion helped us get to the bowl and actually win it. And then of course you had and Vegeta doing his own thing as usual, doing almost hitting 80k and everything, not too far off, 6k off. Now on ED's side, I thought they were actually going to do a bit more, especially with Base and Goku, but he only ended up hitting 4k this week, while everyone else kind of pulled their weight for the most part. So I don't know what's going on when teams go against Resurrected Warriors, but hopefully someone can take them out soon and everything like that. That's my personal opinion, because divisional rivals, I need them to take it down a notch a bit.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but I think what makes Resurrected Warriors so strong is that it's just that they found builds for the characters that work, and they've been consistently working and have not flopped really. And some may think, oh, why not do Super Saiyan and Vegeta? But honestly, I think Base has been working 10 times better than Super Saiyan has, especially on that Vegeta build.
If I recall, they have very similar build. Kits in general though. So it's not that much of a difference between actually the 3 forms, if I recall. But we also got to keep in mind that they haven't brought in Yajirobe, who is a permanent add to their roster. And then of course they have early Goku, who's only alone, and Tapion, who's a free agent. So
and Manju, don't forget that.
Yeah, Manju was brought in place of Fidel. So, but 2 of them are not going to be on their next season. So let's see. I wonder how they're going to actually bring it out next season. Zilo?
Zilo, go ahead.
Mostly Toshiro covered everything that I was thinking about. The only thing that I could remark was that originally when early Goku did not have a build, he actually seemed to perform slightly better during the first test, or the first match. The same could be said about Goku. During that first match, Goku was actually firing off a couple of B2s. I'm not sure if it's just for the position that he came in with match 2. I believe he came in right against towards the end of In Vegeta and before Tapion. Yeah, call. Now, what I do think would be beneficial is if they could get in Goku in a different starting form. I understand that you want the cutscene ultimate for his rear bomb and stuff, but if I'm not mistaken, he has isn't it in Super Saiyan 2? Maybe Super Saiyan 1?
Super Saiyan is instant transmission coming out.
Yeah.
And that was shown on Budokai last season.
Yeah, with the instant transmission Kamehameha, it's hard to dodge that. That's a guaranteed, I want to say 13k, 14k without a super plus. That would be beneficial for anybody because it's a guaranteed ultimate. Yeah, you use a savior in the process, but I believe he also had a max power mode, V1, or full power.
It's possible. I'm not completely sure. Maybe that's Super Saiyan 2. I'm not completely sure about that.
I don't completely remember Goku's V1s either, but yeah.
That's my only statement on that.
I do think something that is unfortunate is that he did this much damage after the week prior where he launched 2 ultimates, and even though 1 missed, it's still a giant spirit bomb ultimate. So it's still very hard to dodge. So
yeah, completely agree with that. And if they could have, I guess they're in a similar spot with me with Goten, is that we have cutscene ultimates and it's just like use them, but they never want to use them. So if they can actually get him pulling out more of those, like how he did against Cinema, he will be very deadly.
I think that's all that's really been needing to be said here. So with that, shall we move on to match 2?
Yep.
Alright, going on to match 2 here, we have Namek versus Sentai Squad, and as you can see on your screen, we have another elite member to count. I think that's been 3 elites in a row. First with Broly, then 16, then late Piccolo. But honestly, this match started off in Sentai's favor with Adult Gohan versus Nuova Adult Gohan on a melee build, which was really enticing to see as he's normally on that like B2 spam, ult spam build. But just goes to show you how powerful melee Gohan can be. Even though Nuova, even though he was starting, did still decent, did his 40k, but and it kept going into Sentai's favor for a while. Like Nail did 20k, King Piccolo really only had the clothes, but he still almost did as much as Nail. But kind of just turned the tide when late Piccolo started going his way, and just kept living, kept surviving. I think he also launched out 2 ults, which both of them hit really decently well. So yeah, I think that's all I really have to say on this match. So Toshiro, what do you think?
On this match, I was really hoping, of course, that Sentai will get another win. But congratulations to Namek. Can you not hear me? Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was muted on Discord.
Stuff happened.
I was hoping basically that Sentai would get their second win here. But congratulations to Namek on getting their another elite and all. Late Piccolo continuing to show that he's a monster and that he will stay consistently so, doing over 114k. I feel like what really broke it for Sentai was that even though, well, I will say 2 things. Ginyu going against Late Piccolo, if I recall. Ginyu, I can see Ginyu doing well because he did well, if I recall, last season too. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Zilo, has this build changed too much from last season?
No, his build has actually remained the same except for one baton.
Okay, so
which was
then,
just-
yeah, I'm just real curious as to maybe it was just matchup for Captain Ginyu, or like, because late Piccolo can be very aggressive, and maybe that aggression kind of like killed it for Ginyu. The other thing was Jace not pulling his weight at all and everything, unfortunately. So I don't like. Of course, you guys know. Well, Sentai knows the inner workings of their team a lot better than I do. But I'm just really wondering how they can do like getting Jace up to par, because if I recall at this point, it feels like Saiyaman may be better being swapped in like in Jace's place and just keep Ginyu in. I'm not sure, but it was still a cool match overall and everything. It's weird to see Nuova starting. And King Piccolo, of course, not really getting much time to shine because he's usually as a closer. So, but that's all I gotta really say about this match.
So, yeah, yeah, really, Namek loves ending with King Piccolo. Hey, if he fires an ult and ends it, hey, what can you ask for? But Zilo, what do you think about your match here?
First of all, congrats to Namek for their lead. It was nice to see late Piccolo pop off. Piccolo is one of my favorite characters. However, when it comes back to us, like Toshiro said, we had a couple of underperformers this week. We started off with Adult Gohan, who managed to, I believe, almost take Nuova out, and then he tagged into Saiyawoman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Saiyawoman finished off Nuova. I think she started to go through Nail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She started going through Nail. Late Piccolo came in, took out the rest of Saiyawoman.
No, Saiyawoman actually tagged. She was one of the last two remaining on your team.
That's right. She tagged. And then came Ginyu first.
Mm-hmm.
And then once late Piccolo went through Ginyu, he went through Jace, which if I recall, I don't think Jace threw very many B2s.
He didn't throw that many, but the ones I think two that he did throw managed to hit, and like two that he also threw other than those two were misses.
Yeah. So it's not like he's lacking on trying on using these B2s. I just think what Jace's thing is he uses his his B2s at a wrong timing. I remember he tried to use the Crusher Ball inside the middle of a Hellzone grenade. Would have been nice if it worked, but instead he ended up taking almost full damage from that Hellzone grenade. And then Adult Gohan came back in, made his way through the last of Late Piccolo, and if I recall, 2 bars of King Piccolo.
Yep. 2 bar. Actually, it was kind of like a bar and a half for King, and then he went down, then another bar, and then Saiyawoman went down.
Yeah. Overall, like Toshiro said, so far Saiyaman has proven a little bit more consistent than Jace, which is something that I didn't think I would say. Because Saiyaman at least was doing 35k. There would be some weeks where he would hit his 40k, 50k or so. But he stayed at least in that 35k area.
Yeah.
And then there were some weeks where he just didn't perform at all.
Yeah.
But I feel like those were a little bit far in between, right?
I think one of the only ones were the first week, so.
Yeah, the one that he struggled, if I recall, was against, I want to say GT. Which is basically a burger show.
Saiyaman struggled, I believe, against Rugrats, Hybrids, and GT.
Yeah.
Those sound like the three teams where he struggled.
Yeah, but I think you guys also had them on different builds than 2. Or you guys were trying out certain things with him, if I recall. But,
Yeah, we were originally trying to get Saiyaman to do a little bit more of a spam build, kind of like Sailwoman.
mm-hmm.
But when it didn't work out, we realized, okay, if we put him back on defense, the first week we put him back on defense, he went ahead and did 52,000 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was against Kaiju.
Okay.
So, needless to say, we know if we bring him back in, he can be put on his defense, and he can perform amicably. But by doing so, we also have to take a look at like what we were doing with Burger, switching up his Blue Batara.
And Burger has been one of your like Mr. Consistents.
Yeah.
But I can see you guys definitely pull out a win, and hopefully soon. But I can definitely see you guys doing, because some of your matches are real close. So
I think all but one of their matches were like really, really close. I think the only one that wasn't was GT.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with that, everything's been really settled and dry for this match. So shall we move on to match 3?
Yep.
All right. We going on to match 3 now. We got our first divisional of the week, and also the last game having to be remade this week. Somehow, someone confused Majin Buu with Evil Buu. We don't know why. We don't know how. But if you look at the prediction votes, it was a 50-50 split. No, it was 50 between Bujins, 50 between androids.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at the stats here, it did seem close. It did seem close, but more in Bujin's favor, which is kind of just how the match turned out. We had Buhan versus 16 to start. 16 coming off a fresh elite performance. You think he'd be doing well, and I believe even the coach of Bujin thought he was going to do better, but no, 16 kind of did less than 20k this week, and then just kind of went on from there. But I don't think anyone would have guessed Cell only doing 35k with Super 17 doing well beyond what he is expected to do, which normally I think they expect him to do like at least 30 to 40k, but he did 61 this week. And then,
I find it funny that Super 17, who was like, I think if I recall, he was their worst member, or close maybe. I don't know how 19 was, but man, like doing 61k.
What, this season or last season? Because this season it's 19.
Well, I mean, like last season, I don't think he was doing too well outside of his ultimates and everything. And then they swapped his build, so now he's actually doing fairly well for himself.
Last season they tried many builds on him, and the only one that seemed to really work was his ult spam.
I'm actually wondering if they're going to bring that back.
I think with Savior being on sale in 17, I think that's not going to be the case, especially when they don't want to blow up their map. But hey, you never know. But anything else you got to say before Zilo here takes charge?
Not much. I kind of invested in both of these teams, Androids being my old team, and me talking to Dora a lot. I was kind of conflicted on who I wanted to win. But I'm kind of like, I don't know how to feel and everything more. So it was a good match overall. Unfortunately, Cell not performing that well. Same thing with 17. But if they can get everyone else doing better, like in terms of maybe 16, or I wonder how things would have went if they brought in 19 instead of 16. If they would have probably won or what. So, but that's all I really say.
Oh, I actually did forget to mention one thing that's special about this week. This week was the last week for people to get a 50k plus average to be qualified for the All-Star League. And sadly, because of Cell's performance here, he got knocked out.
That is true.
So androids do not have a qualifying member again.
Yeesh. But Bujin does, right?
Bujin has 2. Gohan and Kid Buu.
And they didn't
Or
have
Gohan
any
Buu
last.
and Kid Buu, yeah. They didn't have any. And the androids don't have any in the second year of a row. But Zilo, what were some opinions on this match? What do you think?
Let's see. The first iteration of this match, I was impressed by Spopovich. He was doing better than the 30k that I see right here. But coming around back to the whole game plan, androids, they're having a rough time this season. They were having it rough last season too, if I recall. Personally, I know the Super 17 looks like he did well this week with the 61,000. I just think that he needs a little TLC, maybe from staff and other departments. Because when you think about it, he has to use 4 bars for 5,000 damage.
I think that was their main focus on trying to get him buffed, was that 4-bar too. And actually, one thing, that was most of his damage this match. He really loved spamming that 4-bar.
I mean,
because his other one is a
it.
photon laser, which is a 3-bar, which does about 7,000. That's not too bad to think about, but when you start to think about the other 4-bar B2s, for example, if I'm recalling Nappa's Blazing Storm from Nappa doing almost, what is it, 9k?
Did 9k.
Frieza has one that does, what is it, 9.2 or something like that. Then you got Nuova with 10k. Nuova hits 10k easy.
There are 2 things about that for Super 17. He barely reaches 8k with a Super +1 and last bar of 80 nation stacks. And also his is like probably the best tracking B2 in the game.
Yeah.
But for 4 bars, that is kind of weak.
So that's my thing. It doesn't need to be a significant increase. Maybe opening it to maybe 6,000, 6,500 would drastically improve his damage. As that's an extra 1,000 when you're hitting with it. And sometimes when it comes down to it, that 1,000 damage difference is all you really need.
Or decreasing it down to 3-bar, so he has a choice whether to do one B2 or the other.
Yeah. I'm just not sure that the AIs really understand when their bar cost has been dropped.
Yeah, sadly. But you guys think that's everything on this match, or you guys have anything more to say?
Just hope that they get 16 working consistently, because I know he's been their problem child. And good job, Bujins, because you guys are making Svovich work and everything for you guys. So, hey.
I want to see Babidi.
But you know you're not going to see him.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
That is Bujins in the case of Bobby right there. But oh yeah, when we sing early Piccolo and it's when we seeing him.
True, you guys did all that testing and we still haven't seen him. Come on.
You guys hyping him up so much.
Yeah,
Anthony.
Anthony,
the only thing I gotta say is at least Babidi would probably do more than 8K and 12K, in which we have seen from Vapor.
I think the one thing is they don't have the Bataras to really make Bobby work, because Bobby works on like one specific build.
I mean, yeah, that too.
But you never know. But anyway, moving on to match 4, we have Cold versus Cinema, and this was something. I actually didn't get to see the first like 2 minutes of this match, so I didn't know how one of my people performed until I rewatched it. But some good points off this match. King Cole doing 88k again, showing just how powerful he can be when he just pops off. Mecha Frieza doing decent chunk. Zarbon grab spamming, like how Zarbon does. And as you guys have probably seen earlier, 100% Frieza did 13,000 rip stats, rep in peace. But moving on to Cinema's side, we have Janemba. He had to fall victim to King Cold's rampage and only got to do almost almost 2 bars before he went down. Or I only think that was a bar with healing. So, and then Turles fell, taking out King Cold at least. So that was nice. And then I think the one thing that surprised me is with how good second form Frieza has been doing for Cinema, that he only did 33k this week, mostly due to Zarbon grab spamming him. But yeah. And Gogeta having one of his better weeks of the season, nearing the 70k portion, so that's all nice and good. But so moving on to Tosh, what did you think about this?
Alright, my biased opinion, thank you, Code. I appreciate you guys. As you can see, a lot of the prediction, people thought that Sentinel was going to take it, and honestly, I thought Sentinel was going to take it as well. Partly because Mecha Frieza, if I recall, he hasn't been the best. And then when you look at 100% form Frieza, he's had on and off weeks, to where their current build that I believe they have him on is usually a B1 spam with key +2 to negate the what's the key negative that he gets from using his B1 max power B1. That, while it's good in theory and everything, unfortunately it doesn't seem like it's been working too much for him. But I was not expecting King Cold to pop off, honestly. Almost hitting 90k. And I had to go against him this week. So I am not looking forward to that, like, at all. It was a good match overall, though. Gogeta really showing his style, kind of what I would expect Gogeta to do. And weirdly enough, I was not expecting the melee monster that is Super Janemba to only do 20k. But
it's melee monster versus melee monster, so
yeah, but I thought that Janemba would have the upper hand more so. Yeah. Just with his higher stats and everything, it feels like being him, like being an N character and a Z character or whatever. So
being one of the last movie characters, he has high stats.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, good job on Cold Kingdom. Hopefully, you guys can keep it up. Not this week though, but hopefully, you guys can keep it up and everything. Cinema. Hope you guys do well, but also not too well. You know why?
I know perfectly why. But actually, Tosh, 2 fun facts. The reason I predicted if we lost, we were going to lose for 3 reasons: King Cold popping off, Zarbon spam grab, and 100% Frieza. 2 of those 3 reasons were the reason we lost. And also, King Cold did nearly the exact same amount of damage he did last week. So from looking at it, he might do 88k again. So prepare for that.
No, we're not doing that. We had to do a child, but continue.
But anyway, Zilo, your thoughts?
I'm mad at y'all for benching my girl Fasha. Anyway.
We have reasons, don't worry.
Yeah, there's not much I can really say besides for King Cold doing what King Cold does. He gets in, he starts. If he gets the lead, he holds the lead. He's at least been consistent on that effect. If there was anything that I would have to say, it would probably be I expected Turles to do a little bit more. He's been showing promise. I thought he was like Mr. Consistent with 45k, 50k, which could have actually helped turn this around. But obviously, I guess Zarbon and Mecha was not having it this week.
Actually, Turles would have had to be the one to take out King Cold, and he took him out after losing most of his health. So
Yeah.
that just was King Cold being King Cold.
Yep. Yoshida, if only you didn't like to shoot the side of the buildings or some fences.
Primarily a fence. Buildings are fine, they're destructible. Apparently a fence is not.
Yeah, that fence is strong enough to survive a Super Saiyan fusion. So, there we go.
But with that, shall we get moving on to match 5 here?
Yep. Okay.
Sorry, it is rather late. Here we got GT versus Dirt. Honestly, a lot closer, a lot less of a close match than I think people anticipated. But hey, it was still a good one. We still got to see some pop off. We had what was it? I believe Sin and Vegito to start, or Vegito versus Vegeta to start. I'm forgetting, but either way, both sides did relatively well. I think the major portions here was base GT Goku actually shown what base GT Goku was built to do, which kind of was like V2 and like very V2 heavy, a little bit of ult spam, but the one ult that he did kind of got immediately wrecked, so you never know. But I think the two biggest surprises here were not from GT, but were from Derp, which is Dodoria doing 70k. No, he's one of the more weaker ones on Derp. Plus, Hercule only doing 23,000, which you rarely see that from Herc. But and then we got a very, very nice ending, which is both nearly the same ultimate in technicality, which is Dodoria's ultimate nearly killed PyCon with it in a combo after, and then PyCon at his very last HP did the exact same ultimate, just more in his face, and ended the match. So, Tosh, what were some thoughts on this match?
Kind of like what you said, Hercule is, at least on my team, he's the bane of my existence, and I hate fighting against him. And I feel like that's how every team feels like, because you never know what to expect from Hercule, except well, one thing you can expect is present bombs that do crazy damage, but I was not expecting him to kind of get shut down as much as he did. If I recall, and you were right, it was Sin Shinron versus Vegito to start it off, and I believe, in comments, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I recall, Sin Shinron and PyCon were doing a lot of tagging and all between each other, which really helped out with that. And I guess, like, once you get rid of Hercule and his crazy amount of damage, and Vegito, who does have a higher like damage output in terms, because they always have one attack plus 2 on melee build and everything. Once you get rid of those two, I feel like you can just whittle them down for the most part. And that's kind of what GT did here. I'm glad to see base GT Goku actually doing 30K. I don't think he may have hit with his ultimate, but I'm wondering what they're going to do next season, because base form isn't really doing everything that they probably were expecting him to do. And I believe that they wanted him to do a ult spam kind of build, and just spam the super spirit bombs, but he's either not doing that or he's missing. So, and they already tried Super Saiyan 3 last season, so I'm wondering if they're going to go Super Saiyan, or they're going to try Super Saiyan 3 again and try to hope for, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But everyone else seemed to do well on GT. It was kind of balanced overall. Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta, Sin, Shenron both doing around 47K. Pycon doing 58, and beat GT Goku doing 30. Doing pretty good overall. So, yeah, I just feel like I said, with Derp, it's just that Hercule wasn't able to pull their weight, and Herc is usually like the backbone of that team. And if you can get rid of him, it's not easy sailing, but you get a number on them already.
Yeah, get rid of Herc. You still technically have, depending on weeks, you have Salsa and Vegito to worry about, but take care of Herc, and that's a big chunk of burst damage.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you, GT, Goku, and Baize not really looking the best, but I don't think he's necessarily missing with ults. He's either not firing the ults, or when he attempts to fire it, a B2 is already about to hit him, so he just wastes all the ki. He doesn't really miss.
Yeah, that could be true as well. I just don't remember completely. I think he may have hit an ult with this week actually. So hopefully he can keep it up.
But Zilo, what were your thoughts on this match?
Honestly, judging by the stats, you would think that Derp had come out the winner, just on stats alone. However, one thing I do disagree with is with Destiny calling Dodoria one of their weaker members. Historically, Dodoria on Derp has actually been one of their better anchors. In fact, he's been Mr. Consistent in some cases. It used to be, when it came down to it, Hercule, Dodoria, and Supreme Kai were pretty much what was trying to carry Derp at the time. But recently this season, we're getting to see Salsa pop off. You got Vegito. And I think, didn't Supreme Kai almost get an elite?
Supreme Kai's actually been looking a lot better as of recent. That's kind of why I just put Dodoria as the weakest, compared to the lineup they have this season.
Overall, I think Derp has found the nice little niche that they needed, and it's working out for them. I am curious to see next season what would happen without Vegito, but I think they got a solid foundation already planned out. GT, like Toshiro said, once they find out what to do with base Goku, they're going to be a threat to anybody.
Also, not to mention that they also get Baby Vegeta back next season too. So they'll be back in top form.
That's very true.
Yeah, almost forgot they do get Baby back.
Also, Zal, are we going to see Pilaf? Can we see Pilaf in the final weeks? Something?
Where's our pumpkin boy?
Right? Come on.
You already have some capabilities of what he can do from Rails, so you already know he can square up. But with that, shall we get moving on to match 6 here? Alright, moving on to match 6, we have Rugrats versus Kaiju. I know Tosh is really excited about this one. But I believe we have Cybermen versus Raditz to start, and Cybermen actually taking it really well versus Raditz, which is, I guess, kind of canon to lore. Raditz is only really as strong as the Cyberman. But
he was so weak we can grow Raditz, basically.
Yeah, even though we never saw his full power. But jokes aside, and then we have Kid Trunks coming in. Kid Trunks actually taking out Scouter Vegeta, who's one of the more really better members of Kaiju this season, and then fusing in the Gotenks versus Nappa, which is really fun. And then he fused instantly to Super Saiyan 3, kind of just mollywopped the field as Gotenks until Bardock came in, did most of his own health as damage. Gotenks did before tagging on his last bar and letting Aurelius deal with Bardock. But I think really still a really nice performance from Rugrats. Really nice. I think just lineup kind of didn't go the way they planned for Kaiju. But hey, it's always nice to see Bardock do better because he's kind of bottom 10 of the league, which is very surprising for Bardock. And I think, as you can also see, this was another 50-50 match. So, Tosh, what do you got to say about your own match here?
Well, so usually when I go in and like with a match and everything, I don't like really try to go hard into predicting them, but I usually plan on who I want them to bench, and I kind of wanted them to bench either Bardock or Roshi, and in this case they benched Roshi, which was actually better for us because we don't have to deal with after image strike, which is also another bane of my existence, which was pretty good. So overall, like, one thing I feel like people may only forget and everything like that is that on our team only Cyberman has a defense negative, while everyone else is at a neutral defense, except for Rayleigh, who has a positive. So I feel like a lot of people think that it may be a little bit easier to go against us because of that, but they may not know everything concerning the team. Cyberman has been a great starter and everything overall, so I can't really like complain about him doing his 40k. And then you have Kid Trunks actually doing. I was kind of skeptical about putting him up before Goten because last turn we did fusions. It was against Muscle, and I think he only did 20k and almost died before he fused. So this was a little bit more of a risk, at least in my head, even though it was only one performance, but he did almost 50k before he fused. So I can't really complain about that. He did his job and fused into Gotenks and then tagged. Rayleigh being on a slightly different build because Gotenks was in, but she still did her job for the most part. Even though that was all that was left, which was 24k for her to do.
Playing pro wrestling.
Yeah, she did her thing and everything. Everyone did their thing, and I will say that Gotenks was actually done on a whim this week. We are actually planning on benching Kid Trunks or Goten this week, I believe. And when I think Lloyd, he was just like, I kind of miss Gotenks. And our new supporter, he was like, yeah, I don't mind doing Gotenks. So I'm like, so let's just switch things around. And we made it work somehow. We switched our bench schedule around so we can get Gotenks this week. And hey, it worked out for the better.
I think everyone was happy Gotenks came out, so he's no longer number 1 in the league ruining stats. Now he's number 97.
Yeah, he's still number 1 in our hearts. Everyone's hearts. There we go. That's all that matters.
But Zilo, what'd you think?
There's not much for me to say. I think if they had Roshi in, this would have been a completely different game. Only because I know how annoying that After Strike Image and False Courage P1s can be. I was impressed by Nappa. I wanted him to pop off more, honestly. Even though Rugrats is one of my main teams, there's still something so neat about seeing a Kappa and then just those little finger flicks for the Blazing Storms.
Hey, he did quite a few against us. I think he did like 2 or 3, and those things hurt.
I think he did at least 2.
I believe he did 2, and they were hitting you for almost
like
9,000.
Yeah.
If I recall, it was 8,700 and something for the first one. And then once he got a little bit of damage, he did a little higher.
They're also very hard to dodge. They are dodgeable, just very hard.
Raditz is a special person in my heart. It hurts me to see him do bad against Cybermen, especially when he's been having such a good season.
But how can you say that after seeing how good Cyberman's been doing for the later half of last season and this season? I mean, you should kind of expect it at this point.
Nah. Cyberman let me down before. We ain't gonna talk about it.
Wow.
We saw what happened in playoffs.
Kid Boo Killer, Broly Destroyer. Alright, fine, whatever.
He didn't destroy Broly, that's for damn sure.
He did
one match, just never again. But any other thoughts?
Congrats on the new supporter.
Well, thank you. Okay. Not too sure. Still skeptical about using Gotenks every now and then. We'll see if we'll see him in the later half of the season, like in the last 5 weeks or whatever.
I hope we see him for at least one divisional, so I can feel happy. But please not be my divisional against. Wait, we already did divisional against you guys.
Yeah.
Let's never mind. Do it.
You'll see him in playoffs. There you go.
I guess those are technically divisionals for the first few matches. But anyway, shall we get moving on to match 7 here? All right, moving on to match 7, we have Hybrids versus Budokai. Honestly, for what it was a nice match. Nice to see for a good old divisional there. But I think everyone's eyes are going to the main thing in the room, which is the 98.5 thousand on Ultimate Gohan. Yeah, 1.5 away from Elite. It's really fun, really nice. Well, I wouldn't sleep on Budokai just because they almost got deleted against Ken Goku. Still looking fine, especially for going back to form against other meleeers of the league. Android 18, who is their lone character, still looking alright, but kind of just not really hit many ults. Even though I believe she did try 2 this match, I don't know. And then General Tao, who was looking really decent earlier this season, kind of popping a bit, but hey, still doing his 40k. While over there at Hybrids, Teen and Sword Trunks almost around that 40k mark, but Ultimate Gohan kind of stole the show here with the dodges, B2s, the melee combos. And he almost did an ult against one of the characters on Budokai, so what more can you ask for other than him getting elite? But poor kid Gohan did 8,000. Just Ultimate Gohan could not finish that last bar of General Tao. Tosh, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, it was a cool match overall. One thing that I found interesting was that Budokai, they ended up, of course, both teams end up using boost, but for Budokai, they actually FA swapped Cyborg Tao for Yamcha. So I'm actually wondering what kind of led them to, bring in Yamcha and over Cyborg Tao and everything. I'm wondering if like I guess what their thought process is over that. Um, I mean, outside of that, I'm kind of glad to see that. Well, not put air quotes around it. Kind of glad that Ultimate Gohan is kind of back in form. Um, Considering I believe they had him on a Key Plus Two Eternal Life and maybe like Sirius or something like that. Because his Attack Plus Two build wasn't really working out too well. And I believe they actually had him on an Attack Plus One at least, or Attack Plus Two flat against Budokai, and it ended up working. So um, maybe this is the move. Maybe just Attack Plus One may just work out for him. Um,
He had attack plus 1 with another attack plus 1 boost, so basically had attack plus 2 with no defense minus.
okay. So at least like if they run the Attack Plus One like by itself, and I believe that's actually, I think Kid Gohan runs the Attack Plus One. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a permanent thing, or if they're going to like kind of switch that around. Um, but they got him working. Good job to both teams and everything like that on this match. I don't really have much to say because I don't focus on these teams like too much for the most part.
I think Bukai's looking for another win.
Well, I believe it because their division is still somewhat close, like ish, I believe.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So, Zilo, what were some thoughts on this match?
When it comes down to it, I think Budokai has found a nice little formula for themselves, despite with I hate to say it, a lot of their characters do have a bit of a lower base stat line if you're going through and looking at their melee damage and B2 damage and stuff like that. Which Kid Goku, he naturally has, I believe, defense negative, and then being on attack build alongside that. I don't think they used attack plus 2 on him. I think it was just attack 1. I'm a little bit biased. I was wanting Budokai to win just because they have my favorite character on there, which is 18. I worked with her so long, I just kind of grown attached to her. But I also love hybrids, just because back in my younger days, I used to be a Gohan fanboy. I'm still waiting to see this General Blue come out, though. I saw the testing they did with Kid Gohan versus General Blue, so...
I don't think after him giving an elite performance to Metacooler during the preseason week 1, are they going to bring him out again?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
But it's a possibility.
We can dream.
Also, yeah, you're right. Kid Goku only had Attack Plus One this week. And he does have a natural defense -2 because of being a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So not trying to give him the -3.
Yeah, and I think, even though I think they did that last season for him, I think he was consistently on the Attack Plus 2 majority of the time, but he still did well with it. So, hey, but these two teams are the ones I'm only interested in because they have characters I can get. So, you guys...
It's just Teen Gohan, Kid Goku?
Yeah. Teen Gohan, Kid Gohan, and Kid Goku. Hey, you guys want to drop anyone? Like, just straight up drop them so I can get them instead of having Cyberman? Who's good, but come on.
But water maps, though.
Don't start that.
Those some good eyes on us about that water map Cyberman.
You know, ever since that was found out, every time you talk about Cyberman, it's going to come up.
More or less.
But anyway, anyone else got something to say about this match here before we move on to the 8th match?
Nope.
Kid Goku have the burger treatment. Put him at a neutral defense.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard knowing it's early Dragon Ball and never really fought anyone like with Saiyans. But anyway, moving on to match 8 here, we have Muscle versus Royals, and actually this was a lot closer of a match than people think. At least based on stats here. We have Videl versus Broly to start. A nice match to start off. We kind of got like a canon movie match because it was the right costume of Super Saiyan Broly. Just they don't really have that Videl costume in the game, so Broly and Videl kind of just squaring it off. Broly going to Legendary, which is always nice to see. But I think the thing that surprised me more about Legendary Broly is that he did nearly 9k with one Eraser Cannon with no Super Plus. That was just base and not even in a combo. So, yeah, anyone else scared of Eraser Cannon when he goes Legendary? Or is it just me?
I'm always scared. Just Legendary Broly coming out. Yeah. That's something I don't want to deal with, so...
But you got to. But anyways, after that, Majin and Vegeta coming in, showing everyone why he's the prince, showing us why he's one of the best parts of the Buu saga, to be honest. But yeah, him taking out Broly, then I believe he took out Raccoon. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry, I'm kind of blanking. And then he finally goes down to Android 13, really, and that's kind of where it starts going into Muscle's favor again. Android 13 taking on Baby Vegeta. Baby Vegeta really trying, but I think what Royals have done with Baby Vegeta this season kind of is getting a lot more misses than hits, even if it's just bad matchups like 12 and 13. Because what they had on GT was working really well, actually. And then Slug coming in, managing to take out 13 when it was basically like 2 bars of Slug versus a full health Bojack, and honestly, it was a lot more closer than what you would think would be normally for a 2-bar disadvantage. But anyways, enough of me talking. Tush, what'd you think?
Kind of just glad that, we got to see, Giant Monkey for a baby and everything, even though it wasn't the silver monkey. Otherwise, it was a decent match and everything. I got the outcome, of course, that I wanted, but both sides Royals tried to do their best and everything like that in terms of more so with Baby Vegeta. Videl, who I think they FA benched Deborah. Even though she only did 32k, that's kind of more than I don't know. It's kind of more than what I was expecting, to an extent. Because I know when Rez had her, she wasn't really doing all too good. But I noticed that every now and then when Royals was doing their tests in the off season, she was actually pulling off some good performances. So it's kind of good to see that she's doing decent for them and all. But I'm really surprised that that Deborah is kind of falling off to where they feel that they had to bring her in as of course, in his place. In terms of Muscle, pretty much nothing has changed for them. Broly and 13 kind of doing their thing. Well, they are doing their thing overall. Bojack, I don't think he really had much to do. near the end with Baby Vegeta. So like he did 35K, which is cool. And then Raccoon. Hopefully they can get Raccoon like doing decently. He wasn't the best on Cold, but he still did his job like a fair amount of times, if I recall. So hopefully they can get something working out for him, so where he fits the team a bit more without like having to conflict with anyone else. But yeah.
Actually, from what I remember, Raccoon actually tried an ult against, I believe, Majin Vegeta, but kind of just got hit out of it, so it didn't even do like 2 ticks of damage.
Oh, okay.
So he would have done a lot more.
Hopefully we don't. I know Majin Vegeta is crazy, but I don't want a return of the old Majin Vegeta. I don't, but yeah.
I mean, he is currently in the top 10. He's looking back to his #1 spot, and like, I want it.
Nope.
But anyway, Zilo, what were your thoughts?
I don't really have too much to say on this match. Muscle doing what Muscle does. Royals was coming in to put up a valiant effort. I was happy to see Videl. I love Videl. Even if she gives me headaches once in a while. Other than that, hopefully they get something working with Baby Vegeta there. I do believe on GT he was one of their highest characters, like Toshiro was saying, about 40k, almost 50k average. So hopefully that turns around for them.
Yeah. Alright, so you got any last thoughts before we move on to the power rankings?
Nope, not for me.
Bring in the cheerleader.
Yes, give me free testing. I mean, yeah, bring in a cheerleader. No, go ahead.
No, oh, their tier leader. Okay, so she's gonna be leading the tier list.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, moving on. we have our power rankings for this week. Resurrected Warriors sitting nicely at the top spot there. And then we got Namek, Bujins, Kaiju, Rugrats, ED, Cold, Hybrid, Cinema, GT, Derp, Muscle, Androids, Royals, Budokai, and Sentai. So, just looking at this, I like, maybe not just a glance, but looking at this, do you think there should be any changes, like on who should be placed where based on the scores and whatnot? Because I believe this is also done with character stats in mind.
Well, for one, I know Kaiju is apparently above Rugrats, ED, and Cold Kingdom, even though it looks like, I believe their overall is lower.
I did get these stats from the guy that does this, so
Yeah. No,
don't blame me.
No, I know. I'm just kind of shocked that my team is up that high. I usually see my team as somewhat consistent and everything like that, but they do give me a headache every now and then. So I'm happy to see us that high in the power ranking that they have set up for us and everything. But I'm also kind of like, I don't know if we need to be up that high. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Nerf Rugrats.
Yeah, honestly, too strong.
Right.
Don't get started. Don't do it.
We need a little TLC over here on Sentai.
Give every team a fusion that can do with Gotenks.
No.
So just all different characters.
Y'all want to deal
I'm
with
honestly
that?
surprised to see Derp as low as they are, despite their positive record, and with how their members are doing.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
'Cause
Also,
honestly, I feel like Derp has been doing better than Hybrids and hate to say it, cinema as well.
You're not wrong. When your best character is an FA, what can you do?
One other thing I just gotta say is that it's so weird seeing the androids and royals down there. It really is.
Honestly, not just androids and royals, but muscle as well.
That too, yeah.
But anyway, I think we covered everything here, and we should move on to the very last slide.
Okay.
But here we got the predictions, the tier list. Here you can see the 3 people that were near elite up, and a thing for only this week, since this was a more special week, we get to see the people that actually made it in All Stars, and I believe this is a little different than who actually made it. I don't know. I'm checking real quick.
But the Wolva here.
Hey, it also happened with Baby Vegeta last week, so. But let's see, we got for the All Stars, of course, #1 in the league has to be in there. Late Piccolo. Then for the qualifiers, we have for Budokai, General Tao, Bujins, Gohan Buu, and Kid Buu. For Cinema, Second Form Frieza. For Resurrected Warriors, Base and Vegeta and Maju. For Royals, Majin Vegeta and Slug. For Rugrats, Kid Trunks. For Sentai Squad, Burger, and Doggohan. Good job, Sentai Squad, by the way. Burger, top 10. For Dirt, we have Salsa. For Muscle, we have 13 and Trunks. For Namek, we have Nuova, as well as, again, #1 in the league, Late Piccolo. Cold Kingdom, we have King Cold. And Earth Defenders, we have Mid Vegeta and Tia, and a lot of Vegetas. And the only reason why Gotenks isn't going to be there is because he's technically a fusion character, so he doesn't count. But does anyone have something to say about the All-Stars who qualify here before we move on to predictions?
There's no Gotenks. There's no Goten. Haha.
No, he's gonna secretly be in there. I'm gonna make it happen, okay? Got it.
He's gonna be the final boss, I knew it.
No, but on a serious note, I'm kind of shocked that I'm glad that we at least got one character in, but I'm kind of shocked that we weren't able to get a Rayleigh or even Goten in for Rugrats. But that's just me, just based on how I view how they should do for my team. So. But.
I think it'd be funny if one team has every Vegeta on it.
Oh gosh, no. Trying to find out which one is the real, like the best Vegeta.
Technically, you also have to count Gogeta in that list. He's a fusion of Vegeta and Goku.
Yeah, whatever.
Just,
bye.
just somehow All Stars was just all Vegetas, no one else. But honestly, but moving on to the predictions. For match 1, we have Muscle versus Cinema, and I'm going to give it, of course, to my own team, Cinema. We have what we need to, or we potentially have what we need to get Muscle, even though Fasha and Janemba are going to be out. Don't mind saying that, as this is going to be posted on Friday, right, Tosh?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm giving it to my own team.
If I had to, what I want is Muscle. I want Muscle to win, but I can see Cinema pulling it out. Specifically because of Janemba and actually Gogeta. I'm sorry, who you say you had out?
I told you Janemba was out.
Oh, well, I can see Gogeta pulling his way, hopefully, and I actually see Turles if he can stay consistent or do more, definitely. Hopefully Garlic Jr. can start pulling his weight a bit more. I know he's only been in 1 week, but I can still see Cinema doing it, so.
He's on his normal build. So
there you go. Zilo?
Honestly, it comes down to who Muscle has benched. If they have either Broly or 13 bench, I can see it going to Cinema. But if neither one of them are benched, I have to give it to Muscle.
So you're kind of deadlocked right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 Cinema and 1 tie? Question mark?
I guess. Sorry, my brother came in the room. Yeah, 2.5 going to Cinema. I think this is our first ever 2.5. But moving on, we have Cold versus Rugrats, and I do think this will be close. This is and I'm not. This is me just going off based on the teams, not because Rugrats are divisional rivals. I do think this will be a very close one, depending on who either team has in. But I'm going to have to give it to Cold in the end. But I do think Rugrats has the tools to take out Cold. Again, this is discounting me actually being divisional rivals with them, so.
I am hurt. So hurt. No. We have Kid Trunks bench this week. Against Cold. So I'm actually, of course, gonna give it to myself, to my team and everything. So Rugrats winning. I just felt like hopefully Goten can pull his weight, but we still got Rayleigh and Cell Jr. and Cyberman, who those last 2 names I wouldn't have never thought I would say I can count on like very much. So yeah, with that, I'm actually kind of glad. I feel like we can pull it out, especially if they bench on who we are planning on them to do, which is either Zarbon or 100% Form Frieza. So yeah. Zilo?
For me, I hate to say it, I probably have to give it to Cold this time around. Only because I have a feeling they will bench Mecha. Mecha Frieza might be their bench this week. So that still leaves you with 100% King Cold. And of course, you got their.
I mean, Aurelie we did change things out because Aurelie, she's running Eternal Life this week. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. It all depends on if King Cold starts. If he gets that lead, he generally keeps the lead.
So something else is that even on weeks where he hasn't gotten the lead, King Cooler and 100% Frieza have also just bought back a deficit, so you never know.
Yeah.
I got faith.
Yeah. Nothing against your team, Tosh.
All the hate, Tosh. All the hate.
That I believe. I believe what you said, Destiny. No, I'm messing. Alright.
But that is 2-1 going to Cold. So I think it's going to be a close one. Round 3, we got Royals versus Androids. Damn, 3 West Sky matches in a row. Who would have saw that coming? But jokes aside, I think it's going to be hard for either team with who's in. But knowing Meta coming back and knowing Slug can transform, I don't think Android 19 is going to make that much of a difference for Androids. Unless he gets placed against one of their like big time spammers or Slug just doesn't transform. But I'm personally going to have to give it to Androids because I think Royals is going to be benching one of their stronger people because of next week. So my vote is for Androids.
I would have to give it to Androids as well. Not only because since Royals are divisional rivals, Androids, I feel like they have a bit more, I guess, going for them for right now. 17 can always pop up, so can Cell. If they bench 16, that's even better because then they have their, I guess in my eyes, is their strongest lineup, which is kind of weird to say. And like how you mentioned Destiny, they do have their divisional week 9, which is actually against us, so they may bench their strongest. So
Royals is against my team, sir.
oh wait, oh no, I go against Rez. I think I mentally blocked it out. That's my fault.
It is late.
But yeah, no, I give it to androids.
Alright, Zilo.
I'm gonna have to go with Royals in this situation. Mostly because I love androids. I like the people on there. Some good friends there. But when I take into consideration that, yeah, Royals might bench one of their better characters, androids just have a lot of inconsistency this season. And I don't know if that's enough to get past one of these hard-hitting top teams, such as Royals. We've seen Royals perform and win without Majin Vegeta. We've seen them come back from a deficit so large that it should have been impossible, but they just played the tag game. So.
That is very true. Or if Majin Vegeta doesn't care about tags, he just 1v4s.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very true. But with that is 2-1 going to androids. But I don't think any one of us are counting Royals out of this one. Though I do hope androids does get another win, because they've been not so lucky in the win department lately, as we'll get to later with some other teams. Going on to the first divisional of the week, we have GT versus Kaiju, and we know Master Roshi and Pan are coming back in. I think I'm going to have to give it to GT for this, primarily because they aren't on a night map, so most of Kaiju cannot transform to block out like Pan's Rush V2 or block out GT Goku's Rush V2. And even if they could, all of GT's members have Draconic Aura innately because they're GT.
I do want to point out is that GT Goku's Rush V2 Dragon Fist actually does work on giants. Just to give you a heads up, so it will only be Pan's and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's Rush V2. And
I thought he had another Rush V2 in Super Saiyan 1. Forgive me.
Oh, Super Saiyan 1? Oh, then maybe. I don't think he does, but I'm not sure. So
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, my vote's still for GT on this one.
I will also go with GT. Pretty much you pointed out everything there. I just feel like GT has a little bit more burst damage and everything, and their tag game, I feel like their tag game can kind of surpass Kaiju's. So giving it to GT.
Mm-hmm.
Zilo.
With it coming down to just Pan and Roshi coming back in, they have something similar. Pan has Sand Soul, and her other one is After Image, right? Master Roshi has
After Image Strike as well.
Yeah,
they
both have After Image. Master Roshi has False Scourge. Alright.
They both have Weight of Power Body and After Image Strike.
My only thing when it comes down to GT versus Kaiju is that it's going to depend on how the swing of the starters go in this one as well. Because if Kaiju can pull ahead, we've seen what happens with GT Goku. He hasn't been doing too hot. While Kaiju actually has Scouter who's doing well. They got Nappa that can hit you pretty hard. Roshi, he showed by going near Elite several times now. I believe last season he actually had an Elite under his belt. I'm gonna have to give it to Kaiju, just because I do weigh Roshi that heavily.
Alright, so that's 2-1 going to GT, but nothing is set in stone, even though it is a divisional. And hey, we just predict here. We don't predict we don't make the outcome of the match ourselves. So if we did, I think our teams would be winning a lot more. But moving on straight into another divisional, we have ED versus Namek, and I think this one will have to come down to like starters on end. If Namek really feels like late Piccolo is just going to be enough, but I'm still going to have to give it to Namek. It's kind of hard when you know what late Piccolo can do. He's coming fresh off an elite performance, and he's just really there, Mr. Consistent. But ED has some tools to break through him, like mid Vegeta or if Goku and mid Goku start spamming him out. But I just think Namek overall can win.
I feel like Namek will take it. Honestly, I feel as much as I feel like ED can be a lot more powerful, it's just how Namek has been performing, and I can just see them taking it more so. So, my vote is Namek.
Zilo.
Personally, I'm gonna have to give it to Namek. Though this gif of this hat changing colors is making me want to question that.
I didn't even know that hat changes colors. I just picked the driving Piccolo gif because it is technically late Piccolo.
It's something that I've been looking at this entire time. But,
you know, at least it makes you look at it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to give it to Namek, just simply because all of their characters are Mr. Consistent. I don't think they have a bad apple. I might be wrong.
I think the only ones so far are either Nail that just doesn't perform, and King Piccolo is mostly gone closer, or Tan just gets beat out by another melee character.
Yeah. They still have late Piccolo, Nuova. King Piccolo, all he needs to do is come in, throw his ult. That's what he's there for.
And they have Tam, which is a really good starter for them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to give it to Namek. I'm sorry, ED. I want y'all to win, but I gotta give it to Namek.
Yeah. So, 3-0 to Namek, but I think none of us really are underestimating ED here, because you never know if they show up or not. Next, we have Bujins and Sentai, this is very heartbreaking since I really want Sentai to win. I really, really, really do. And for Door's sake, trying to get away from most of North Kai being close right now, he also needs this win. But it's just hard. I'm going to have to give it to Sentai though. I think with because going off some information earlier, since Jace is on like a new thing, and then Birder's back in, so seems like you guys got some spice. You guys got something nice. So yeah, I'm giving it to Sentai.
I will probably have to give it to, well, I would say it depends, because with Bujins, if it's just strictly, of course, like they're just bursting through Sentai, I can see them taking it. But if they get in, Sentai is usually more clash heavy, unless you guys are changing that this week, I don't know. But like, if you guys get into a bunch of clashes and everything like that and follow up on it, I definitely see Sentai taking this, because they are usually good on following up on their clashes and all. But overall, I'm probably just going to, if I had to pick a side, probably Bujins right now, even though I want Sentai to win.
No. Right? So yeah, when it comes down to this, I should give it to my own team. But at the same time, if Boojins have Kid Buu in, or even Gohan Buu, it's gonna be a tough fight. It really is. The only thing I can say about your Clash Heavy is for once in my life, I threw a Clash Patara on Birder this week.
Ooh.
So,
Which one?
Power of Rage, if I recall.
Alright, sounds decent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because with Ginyu coming back in, he takes over that Eternal Life slot, which allowed me to have 2 extra points. Well, I wasn't really using those 2 extra points for anything. Power of Rage. Birder likes to clash. If he starts winning them, that's good. As you heard with the Jace, we do have something new on him. It's not completely new, but he is starting in a position that you would not expect him to be. So,
Okay.
overall, with too much experimentation going on our side, I have to give it to Boojins.
Alright. So 2-1 going to Boojins, but I think all of us here want to see Sentai get a win.
Mm-hmm.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Budokai versus Dirt. We have believe I'm trying to remember who Budokai benched real quick. Well, I know we have Supreme Kai coming back in for Dirt.
I think they benched Nom.
Oh yeah, we have Nam and Supreme Kai coming back in this match. I think, still, even with that, I'm going to have to give it to Derp. This looked like just 1 week of Hercule kind of just getting out before he spammed, and just it's been really hard for Budokai to get some. It's been really hard for Budokai to confirm a lot of things, even with like their strongest lineup out. And I think Salza, Hercule, Supreme Kai, Dodoria, and Vegito just trying to feel who is going to be in for that or not, since all of them perform fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really hard. So I'm giving it to Dirt.
I will also have to give it to Dirt. Partly because kind of the same thing. It may have been a one-off for Hercule overall. The rest of their characters have been looking fine. I don't know. I just see Derp coming out on top a little bit more than Budokai, but I feel like it may end up being either a close fight overall. So yeah, but my vote is Derp. So Zilo.
When it comes down to me, I'm gonna actually probably give it to Budokai for one reason. I think Fiora is gonna end up benching Hercule this week. So that's going to be one big damage dealer out of the way. And then, because taking into consideration their next divisional is on week 10, if I recall. Because they got to fight Muscle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Muscle. Mm-hmm.
If I was Derp, I would be looking at getting my main benches out of the way, which would be Hercule, Salza, and Vegito. So I think what Derp is going to end up doing is benching one of their main carries, which is going to allow Budokai to actually take this win.
Okay.
Alright. So we got 2-1 going to Dirt. Going on to the final prediction before we end the cast here. We have Resurrected Warriors versus Hybrids, and I think this is one of the teams that could take Resurrected Warriors down, and I definitely think this is one of the weeks to do it. Resurrected has a divisional against Rugrats next week, so they might want to bench more of their stronger characters, even though it's kind of hard to tell who's one of their stronger characters since everyone performs like they should. So I personally want to give it to hybrids, but I'm still going to give it to Resurrected Warriors. Their team's just looking a lot more solid, even with one of their best people benched. So, though hybrids could change my mind during the match, because the Teen Gohan burst, Future Gohan burst, the melee damage of Ultimate and Sword, it's really hard to deal with. So, yeah.
I will actually give it to hybrids, even though I do kind of think Res may take it. I'm having a big hoping that hybrids will, and I think that they can. Because Future Gohan is coming in for them, and if they are benching Kid Gohan, then technically they have one of their strongest lineups. And also they broke the undefeated record against Namek, I think, last season too. So it kind of works out in essence. So my vote is hybrids.
Personally, I would love to give it to hybrids, but I'm gonna have to go with Resurrected Warriors on this one, just because of how solid they have been. And yeah, you talk about hybrids breaking Namek's streak last season and stuff, but Namek hasn't always had the most consistent characters, which all of Resurrected Warriors has proven that they are consistent. Plus, with having odd weeks from Future hasn't been doing too hot this season. If they keep Kid Gohan in, he's been consistent. Ultimate has also struggled. It's the reason that we don't see him in All-Stars as well. Yeah, he got a good week this week, but I'm gonna have to give it to Resurrected Warriors.
So we got 2-1 going to Res, but all of us personally want hybrids to win. But I think that'll be a good match. But with that, we've come to the end of the Capsule Cast. It was a really fun week. Really nice to see who was in All-Stars and who wasn't. But we got a link to the Discord, the website, and the Twitter down below. We cannot bite. Trust us. And with that, I was your host, Destiny.
I'm Tosh.
I'm Zilo.
And we will be seeing you next week.
Bye.